Janazah prayer. The prayer over the deceased person. Virtue of the funeral prayer.
The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Whosoever attends the funeral of a Muslim out of sincere faith and hoping for the reward from Allah, and remains with it until the prayer is offered over it and the burial is completed, he will return with a reward of 2 qirat. Each qirat is equivalent to Mount Uhud, and whosoever offers the prayer over it and returns before its burial, he will return with 1 qirat." Mount Uhud now appears on the screen, as well as certain information relating to this mount, which helps us to imagine the greatness of the reward for the performance of the funeral prayer, as well as the presence in the cemetery until the end of the burial. Now that we know the virtue of the funeral prayer, it remains for us to know how to perform it.
Notes.
The Imām and the congregation perform funeral prayer in the same manner. The Imām always precedes the congregation in saying Takbīrs and Taslim. All conditions for regular prayer are required for Salatul Janazah, such as Taharatu, al-ghusl, clean clothes, and being in the state of wudu, with adequate covering of the body, and facing the Qibla.
Description of the funeral prayer.
Funeral prayer has 4 takbīrs, and the prayer is conducted as follows. The prayer begins with the first takbīr, also called the opening takbīr, which is followed by the recitation of al-Fātiḥah. Then a second takbīr followed by the recitation of the second part of the final tashahhud. Then the third takbīr followed by du'as for the deceased taken from the prophetic Sunnah. Then the fourth takbīr followed by taslim, concluding the prayer either once to the right side or twice as in regular prayers, either after a short dua, or a short pause during which the Imām keeps silent to give the congregation a sufficient time to say the fourth takbīr. Janazah prayer is conducted standing throughout in congregation, and silently without athan or iqama and without ruku, sujud or jolas.
The corpse is placed between the Imam and the Qibla. It is sunnah that the Imam stands opposite the head, if the deceased is a man, and opposite the waist if it is a woman.
Now we move on to practice, with a practical example commented step by step, explaining how to perform the funeral prayer.
Allāhu Akbar. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وآل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد، وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وآل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. الله أكبر. اللهم اغفر له وارحمه وعافه واعف عنه وأكرم نزله ووسع مدخله واغسله بالماء والثلج والبرد ونقه من الخطايا كما ينقى الثوب الأبيض من الدنس، وأبدله دارا خيرا من داره وأهلا خيرا من أهله وزوجا خيرا من زوجه، وأدخله الجنة وقه فتنة القبر وعذاب النار. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
If possible, attend the burial after the funeral prayer, as the reward is double. Uthman ibn Affan narrated, whenever the Messenger of Allah finished the burial of the dead, he would stand by the grave and say, "Seek forgiveness for your brother and pray for him to be steadfast, because he is now being questioned." Related by Abu Dawud. Al-Hakim graded it as Sahih.